Little aliens and chaos demons. It is Amy Harbor, and welcome to the next episode, episode 7 of the Tortured Sports Fans Department. As always, we name each episode after a Taylor Swift song, lyric, etc. And this is You Need to Calm Down because a lot of you are being too damn loud. I've said what I need to say, at least on that. Of course, we start off with a favorite section of mine called I Love You, It's Ruining My Life, where we talk about, the teams that I follow. Then we get into some general sports stuff. So let's start with the Cleveland Guardians. I am heartbroken here, and I'm also torn because Carlos Carrasco is now going to the New York Yankees. We didn't expect him to come back. He struggled this past season. I actually thought that this was going to be it for Cookie, but Cookie still thinks he has more cookies in the cookie jar. So now he's gone to the Yankees, which makes me wonder if I need to book a trip to New York now and dig up the hexed items that I left at Yankee Stadium in a fit of rage because I was upset that they beat Cleveland in the ALCS. So I decided I was going to hex them. Did it on Halloween, day after they lost the World Series. I buried a few things on the grounds of Yankee Stadium. I'm just saying, I don't know. Maybe I have to go unbury them now because I would hate for this hex to come back on Cookie. Not that, there's a guarantee that he's going to make the roster. He probably isn't. I'm going to be honest. I don't think there's any cookies left in the jar. Go do your travel show or whatever with your wife because I think we're done here. Also, I am still getting over this nastiness, so I'm trying not to cough. Mmm, tasty tea. And there is a lot of tea in this episode. A lot of tea, a lot of controversial stuff. Cavaliers, they're still doing great. We're the first NBA team to 40 wins. So there is that. First team to do 40 wins. They destroyed the Mavericks. The Mavericks were having a little bit of a down day that day. I think we'll get into that later. Then we got blown out by the Celtics. Then we had that amazing buzzer beater by Darius Garland last night at half court. That was freaking insane. And people are like, no, he got lucky. Watch the shot again. Watch the shot again because that man did not get lucky. That sucker was lined up perfectly. That wasn't like a hope and prayer half court. That was, I know I'm taking this shot. And right after the game, well, actually today, Niang and LeVert got traded for DeAndre Hunter, which I found lovely. Like, because Niang basically let the Pistons back into the game last night against the Cavaliers. Well, now 2 nights ago. I'm recording this at like 1 in the morning. So, but literally fouls on 3-point shots, literally like back to back, letting the Pistons back into the game. I was like, get this man off my team. And apparently online bullying works because I woke up today and he was traded. So there's that. Tasty tea. Ohio State, Ryan Day is like Will in the last episode of The Fresh Prince, looking around. Where's the furniture? Where is everyone? That is him with his coaching staff because they've all scattered. They're all gone. Jim Knowles goes off to Penn State. Chip Kelly's off to the NFL. But I have called it from like whenever. Called it. The Brian Hartline was going to be the offensive coordinator for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Everybody's like, nah, you're wrong. You're wrong. Like I was saying it before it even happened. And people were like, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. I was like, okay, maybe I got my info from my source wrong. But apparently I didn't. And then I got to go back and say, I told you so. Men don't like that, but they have to deal with it. And now Ryan Day got his contract extended, which am I the only one that's saying, why are we doing that? I understand he won a national championship. You have to give him some kind of reward or something. But why are we doing this? And he hasn't beat Michigan since 2019. I mean, I know we have to give him something, but did we have to do this? Am I the only one questioning this? That's what I want to know. Am I the only one questioning this? If I am, then I am. I'm okay with that. But I was like, shouldn't you prove that you can beat Michigan before we extend that contract? Because I'm thinking if you lose one more time to Michigan, we're going to be hearing head coach Brian Hartline, not offensive coordinator. The Blue Jackets, I hope we're not losing momentum because they've lost like 2 or 3 games. It's been up down again. They lost to Dallas, and not only did they when they lost to Dallas, they also lost Marchenko, who got his jaw broken while sitting on the bench. Puck flew into the bench, human jaw, broke his jaw. And then we lost tonight to the Utah, whatever the fuck you want to call them. I guess we're not calling them the Yeti now. They're still the hockey club. Personally, I think we should call them the Utah Soakers. If you know, you know. Or maybe the Utah Dirty Sodas. But this is what really gets me. And I have to wonder if maybe this is also playing a little bit into the players as well. The news today, it's the latest bullshit from Sean Higgins. If you do not know who Sean Higgins is the drunk driver that killed Johnny Gaudreau and his brother. But this is the latest bullshit from him. He is now arguing that his case should be thrown out because Johnny Gaudreau and his brother were more drunk than he was when he hit them. And that is a fact. Their blood alcohol levels were higher than the drivers. However, and I don't know what the laws are in New Jersey. You probably can't bike while you're drunk. I don't know. But it may be factual. But they were on bikes on the shoulder of the road, not behind the wheel of a car, driving erratically and recklessly and passing people, which led to him hitting them on the bikes. The more I read about this man, the more I want to start sending him postcards every single time the Blue Jackets lose because he sucks. He's also the one that said when he got arraigned if he had to stay in jail longer because it was a holiday. This man has no remorse whatsoever. Please, I am begging you, throw the book at him. Let him serve 20, 30, 40 years. I don't care. Give him life. I know that he can't get life in this situation, but you can give him, I don't know, 20, 30 years so that by the time he gets out, he's practically dead. Make it happen. Yeah, that's pretty much the rundown of, what's going on with teams. There's some soccer stuff going on, but I've been out of touch. I just know that, we just had the EPL, the transfer window and everything. Duran went bye-bye for Aston Villa, which was him being there was brilliant marketing, but it was not good for the team. Now, I do follow Ohio teams, but I live in Chicago, so we have to talk about some Chicago stuff. There was a bat loose in the United Center during the Blackhawks game. And I was like, that track's on brand because they are a shit show. And what better sign of them being a shit show than a bat running around loose during the hockey game? And then some sad news. The Bears owner, Virginia McCaskey, passed away. She was 102 years old. 102. She was a pioneer for being like a female sports owner. But I do have to say, I think God even said sell the team. God was like, no. I will say though, at least she got to witness the Bears beating the Packers as her last game. And some more serious stuff. This is going to be a kind of heavy episode. And there's nothing I can do about it because there's things that I need to talk about and they need to be discussed. And it's just what's going to happen. I don't know, maybe skip ahead 10, 15, 20 minutes if you want to get back to the lighter stuff. Actually, I'm looking at the agenda here. Yeah, I don't think it's going to get light anytime soon. If you just want to not hear the serious stuff, because we're going to be talking about anniversary of Kobe Bryant. We're going to be talking about this trans athletes bill. We're going to be talking about some Trevor Bauer fuckery, shenanigans going on with the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, just some social issues here too. But a week ago, Sunday, dates are just, I feel like I'm living in an airport right now. Time of day, dates, it doesn't matter. Anyway, a week or so ago was the 5th anniversary of the Kobe Bryant helicopter accident. And, you know, I have very distinct views about Kobe Bryant. And I've stated those on TikTok and Instagram and stuff. However, and I did say that Kobe Bryant, at best, was an adulterer, and at worst, he was a rapist. And that pisses a lot of people off. But I still say facts are facts. Did he get charged? No. But someone did point something out to me. If you are on TikTok, you may be familiar with the work of former MLB agent Joshua Kushnick. I hope I pronounced your last name right. I probably didn't. I don't know. Maybe my accent just fucked it up or something. But he actually opened my eyes to the fact that it's something I didn't look at. I never went down the rabbit hole. After Kobe Bryant, his little problem, he did a lot of pro-woman stuff after his indiscretions. He was devoted to being a girl dad. There's no doubt about that. Fought for women's sports. I went down the rabbit hole because somebody was like, hey, I know you got this view, but please go down this rabbit hole and look and see. And I can't sit here like an episode or two ago and talk about Michael Vick and Michael Vick getting a second chance and Michael Vick having a chance for redemption and then not do the same with Kobe. That would make me look like a giant ass hypocrite. Do I see things in a different light? Yes, slightly. It's also difficult and hard for me to see it in that light, like him being a girl dad, him fighting for women's sports, and I'm supposed to just gloss over what he did when I myself am a survivor of a sexual assault. And I think this is because so many women just see their abusers walk free with no repercussions like Kobe did. I mean, yes, there were some repercussions, like he lost marketing deals and stuff, but then he got them back. His criminal case never went to court. He settled with the victim out of court. He never went to jail. And I think the hard part to deal with is him being treated like a deity by some fans when his victim is still treated like a gold-digging villain to this very day. And I think it kind of sucks that, every year on like January 26th, 25th, whatever day it was, she has to see him glorified and be re-traumatized. And I think that is the problem I have with it. Moving on. I will preface this with any comments that are transphobic will result in your comment being deleted. And if it's on like Instagram or anywhere that I can block you, I will block you. If you feel the need to not listen to this podcast again because of these views that I'm about to say, have at it. But the trans sports executive order by President Trump, aka the 15 minutes of fame for Riley Gaines, who is also known as the unseasoned raisiny potato salad Barbie. I'm absolutely disgusted by this executive order. It's gross. And the fact that it was done on National Girls and Women in Sports Day is even more disgusting. I am a former college athlete. I played tennis. I obviously am a current sports content creator. I've been creating content since the 90s on like GeoCities websites. I have never felt threatened by any woman, including a trans woman. And that's to say trans women are women, trans men are men. I don't want to hear any of the transphobic bullshit. I have never felt threatened by any of them. I was, and I am, confident enough in my abilities to compete regardless. I played men. I played women. I played whoever I would play on the tennis court growing up. And I did not care. I played in men's leagues. I played in women's leagues. I didn't give a shit. Sometimes I won. Sometimes I lost. But I didn't cry like a little bitch about it. Maybe, Riley, you're just not as good at your sport and you should have practiced more if you felt threatened so much that you needed this bullshit executive order. Riley Gaines is a fucking whiny ass clown who should have practiced in the pool more and ran her mouth less. And maybe then she wouldn't have actually lost to biological women. If Leah Thomas had such a competitive advantage, then why did she tie for fifth? Fifth, yes. Didn't beat the women. With Gaines and not first. It's not that Riley Gaines lost to 4 women. It's that Riley Gaines tied for fifth with a trans athlete. Riley Gaines is nothing more than a participation trophy pick-me sore loser who couldn't accept being mediocre. So she decided to be a typical conservative grifter with her transphobic fuckery. And that being said, I am a tall girl with a deeper voice and a smaller chest. At least 2 to 3 times a week, I get told on social media, whether it's comments on Twitter while I'm live tweeting games, or comments on YouTube videos, or comments on my Instagram when I post photos. Some asswipe thinks that it's some type of insult to tell me that I look like a man. I've even had people who I've gone to high school with, the same high school as me, convinced that I was a male at that high school, even though I'm in the yearbooks. Like I could walk over to my bookcase right now, pull out my yearbook, show you me playing tennis, and they are convinced that I'm lying about it. I really think that those women like myself who are a little bit taller, who have deeper voices, we constantly have to defend this. And it translates to a few or all of these categories applying. You have an unusually athletic physique. You're tall and imposing. People are threatened by strong women with opinions. You're confident, knowledgeable, and animated. And that scares people to see that in a woman. And you know what? I just might lean into it because every time I've had bangs, people lean into it more. So I might. Who knows? I might go to a very red state and let them try to because I will flash my beaver in your face. Now, then you see comments. Again, comments on like social media posts that say, "Thank you, Trump, for keeping the freaks away from women's sports and locker rooms." But you want to know who the real freaks are? They're the toxic men who sexually assault and abuse female college athletes on college campuses. There are maybe 10, 15 transgender athletes in all of college sports. That's something like 500,000 athletes, I think. I am not good with numbers, but it's something like 500,000 athletes across Division 1, Division 1A, Division 2, Division 3, something like 500,000 athletes. 10 to 15 total trans athletes competing at the collegiate level in the entire United States. That's not even 1%. But do you know how many collegiate athletes are sexually assaulted? Around 21%. And that's just what is actually reported. A lot of women don't report. Why? There's whole freaking hashtags. You can figure out why. We don't get believed. We get accused of making stuff up. Again, we go back to the Kobe Bryant case. Oh, she's just doing it for money. She's just doing it for fame. Any excuse you can think of. What was she wearing? I mean, let's remember that a swimmer at Stanford got 6 months for raping a woman behind a dumpster. Again, 21% toxic men that are sexually assaulting collegiate athletes, female collegiate athletes on campuses. Hell, that's part of the reason that transfer as tennis player. So I didn't have to see the guy that sexually assaulted me on campus, in addition to the horrible program I was in, which leads me to abusive, toxic male coaches. Because I had one of those at the University of Dayton as well. A disgusting, abusive male coach telling me that, and my teammates, that, a bevy of reasons why we lost, besides the actual facts of why we were losing. I got told I was too skinny, too lazy, too whatever to save his ass of a job because Dayton was in a conference that they didn't belong in. Dayton did not have tennis scholarships at the time, and we were in a conference with all scholarship players. I lost to a girl who played at Wimbledon the next year. I lost to her in 27 minutes. She hit the ball so hard my racket flew 3 feet behind me. I had bruises from where I got hit with serves, and my coach made me stay in the match. Now, I wouldn't have just laid down and quit anyway. I'm too competitive. But there comes a point in time where it's a dangerous situation and you probably shouldn't be playing in that match or something. Anyway, he also made me practice when I was injured, accused me of faking injuries. Those are the real predators in locker rooms and causing problems with female athletes. The last time I looked, or any athletes in general, last time I looked, Jerry Sandusky or Larry Nassar weren't transgender athletes preying on females in a locker room. It's the fucking toxic ass men, not the transgender athletes. And that's all I will say about that. Let's move on to something lighter, I guess, if you consider the Luka trade and the Mavs having a meltdown lighter. I did find it hilarious that everybody was coming for Mark Cuban, and he doesn't even own a majority of the team anymore. He owns something like 27% of the Mavericks, and he didn't even know about the trade until afterwards. But his Twitter and his Blue Sky, oh my God, the comments. They were like, "Oh, I hate you," da, 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 just going after him. I mean, this is the same man who famously admitted that he would rather divorce his wife than let Luca walk out the door. So I'm pretty sure that he didn't know about the trade. Oh my gosh, it's nothing but like sexual assault on this podcast or toxic men on this podcast this week. Whew! We need to talk about this Justin Tucker situation. He's got 9 massage therapists accusing him. It's like the Sean Watson all over again. What's wrong with the AFC North? Why? I just want to know. However, I do need everyone that had their Deshaun Watson energy to have the same exact energy with Justin Tucker. That's all I'm going to say about that for now as this story develops. Speaking of Deshaun Watson, I'm pretty sure he's part of the reason that Myles Garrett wants out of Cleveland, and I don't blame him. Would you want to play with a predator? Or for an organization that shows no effort whatsoever, that they are willing to do what it takes to contend or even try to win a Super Bowl. And it's going to get very messy for the Browns. It's going to get very messy for the Browns because they're going to have a lot of be over the cap space by a lot. Yeah, this is going to get bad, very bad. This may go down. The Deshaun Watson trade may go down as the worst trade in sports history for everything that they lost. Oh, well, let's move on to another abuser. I guess that's the theme of this week. Trevor Bauer, yeah, he's back. I know. He's not back in MLB. He's back in Japan. Yep. Going back to Japan. Not our problem. It's pretty bad when even the White Sox and the Angels want nothing to do with your ass. But I was quite amused because, Trevor goes on a rant. There's like 20 players at best that could probably hit off me, whatever. And then Chipper Jones, like, if you want to go down a good rabbit hole, go down the Chipper Jones Twitter X, whatever you're calling it this week. Go down the Twitter rabbit hole of Chipper Jones lighting the fuck out of Trevor Bauer. It was glorious. I was like, oh, I could be down for Chipper Jones coming out of retirement to light the shit out of Trevor Bauer. I mean, I definitely know that Jose Ramirez is probably like 5th on that list of 20. I know that Jose Ramirez would light Trevor Bauer up something fucking fierce. And I have no qualms about saying that. This tea is great. Finally, and I try to not cross-pollinate my pop culture. But I did watch the Grammys this week, and Chappell Roan, her Grammy speech, talking about record companies not providing, like health insurance or health care for their employees, or not paying, the artists that they sign, not giving them a living wage while they're in development deals. And it got me thinking about minor league baseball players. We need to have the same energy. That speech could also be said about teams, professional sports teams with their minor league players. Now, granted, we don't have like a deep minor league with basketball or even NFL, but there is this deep minor league system with hockey and baseball. and I am not familiar with hockey. So if you have any insight into the minor leagues, how the finances work and everything, please let me know. I'll have you on. You can talk about it. But I do know with the minor leagues, don't ask me how I know. I just know. Having known some minor leaguers and stuff. The average minor leaguer makes less than $28,000 a year. Like if you're like a prospect, then yeah, you've got a signing bonus and everything. But if you're the average minor leaguer, you are making on average $28,000 a year, unless you're like in AAA, and then maybe you're making $40,000 a year. It's not a living wage. I know minor leaguers that had side gigs at like freaking restaurants or retail shops in the towns that they were playing, that they would, if they didn't have a game or they weren't traveling, on their off days, they were working there to make enough money to live as a professional athlete. Or in some cities, because of where they're located, they're living 2, 4, 6, 8 to a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom and lining up bunk beds and living like it's a college dorm while they're playing minor league baseball for a professional team that's rolling in billions. So yeah, us sports people need to have the same energy as this Chappell Roan Grammy speech, because the minor league baseball players definitely need to be paid a freaking living wage. I said what I said. I'm not stepping back on it. If someone can enlighten me how the living wages are going in hockey, I would love to know. But yeah, that's the situation of baseball players. Also, I know one baseball player that got injured, and of course they took care. And then when he couldn't rehab or anything, they were like, okay, well, your health problems are your problems now. Kind of shady shit. Depends on the team, though, I guess. Anyway, that is this very heavy episode of the Tortured Sports Fans Department. If you're watching this on the video and you want to follow us, Twitter, Blue Sky, X, if you want to call it that. I dead name it Twitter. Why? Because Elon dead names his daughter. It's at Amy Harbor, HARBER, or at TSFD Pod. Instagram, it's at Amy D Harbor. Yes, I had to use my middle initial there. Or at Tortured Sports Fans DEPT. We had to shorten the department there. TikTok, it's Amy Harbor again, and YouTube. /AimerCat, AIMERCAT, meow, meow, meow. Have a great week, my little aliens and chaos demons, and I hope to catch you next time on the Tortured Sports Fans Department.